When we're on tour, I suppose there is, you're only playing a show for 1 hour of a day, or maybe just a bit over, but especially, you're always driving from city to city, so there's a lot of time spent in a van. And then you get to the venue and you set everything up and you have your sound check. And there's always that weird period between sound check and the show itself where you're sort of hungry, but you don't want to eat because you're a bit nervous. So you just I just pace back and forth. I just walk around.
It's more time off than free time. You're not quite free to go and do whatever you like. You're kind of just in this void sort of purgatory.
Yeah, exactly. Last time we were in Zurich, though, we did catch the tram all the way into the city, and we had a nice Indian meal in Zurich. We thought that was
some of the best Indian we've ever had on the road.
It was very good.
Oddly enough, in Zurich. Yeah, there's a great vibe in this city for some reason. We can't quite work it out. It's just, yeah, there's a glow to it. We've been writing, so we wanted to have a few small shows to try out the new songs without too many people watching. So it was really small but really excited crowd, and it was really fun actually.
It was a lot of fun.
Basically a live rehearsal.
A live rehearsal, yes, that's what we call it.
You can rehearse as much as you like, but it's not quite the same as playing in front of people, I think.
No matter how many times you rehearse a new song, playing it live is the real test. Choosing between a festival and a club show, it's tricky. I think I'd probably choose a club show. I love the intimacy of a club show, where it's just 2 or 3 bands, and sometimes, we're not big enough a band to play at the nighttime at festivals often, and playing our music in the daytime in the afternoon, it feels like not as dramatic.
It's not as suited to it, yeah.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
They both have their
definite pros and cons.
Pros and cons, at a festival, sometimes you just feel like doing a festival where it's not about you, it's kind of about the whole day, and so you're just there to entertain people, and sometimes you might make new fans or whatever, and that can always really help. But yeah, sometimes there's a magic to a group of people coming to see you, and yeah.
I remember buying cassettes, that's for sure, and you wouldn't have thought, you know things are going to change, but you never think they'd change so quickly. The digitalization of music, I think, makes it easier to have more of an international reach. Like, you can actually, without a doubt, it was a viral video of ours. Not of ours, that our song got onto, the Danny McCaskill video. He's a mountain biker, and one of our songs was on that video, and it went, it got really popular very quickly, and then just off that, we were able to actually go to Germany and play to 400 people.
We'd never gone out of the country. So we'd never would have been able to tour out of the country, really, and we did a European tour based on just that. But then there's the music side of it, I think I'm always interested in. I kind of was a big fan of the 80s growing up, and I never much listened to 90s music until later. I think it marks a shift in the psychology of musicians and music listeners, in that they expect something real rather than a show in some ways. There was that whole Nirvana, Pearl Jam kind of anger about society and the show and the spectacle and all that kind of thing, but also almost a kind of a pulling down the fourth wall aspect of it that I think is really interesting. And now artists today have to kind of find a balance between what kind of artist they're going to be, whether they're going to be, totally there, open for their with all their weaknesses, open for their fans, like a Kurt Cobain type person, or whether they're going to keep things, behind a curtain, or whether they're going to be critical of the music industry openly or not. it's a really interesting, where do you place yourself on that whole political kind of spectrum there? And I think it's really kind of a difficult predicament for musicians today to decide where they stand.
I'd like to think that people who want to listen to our music think it's worth spending a little bit of money on, but at the end of the day, it's sort of like, for me, maybe I'm a bit too fatalistic about it, I don't know, but it's like the people have spoken, and that's what they want, and it's fine if they want to consume our music, and that's just the way it's going to be, that's fine. I mean, we can still make a living from music, I suppose, so it just changes. You have to change your expectations, I guess, about what you actually want to get out of being in a band. And album sales, revenue from album sales just isn't one of them anymore.
Well, they say that live, like as much as album sales have gone down, live music is at one of its strongest times at the moment. It's the older artists that were already quite big before, or like your Radioheads, that might be able to give stuff away for free, or boycott Spotify, or boycott iTunes, or whatever that is. They can make these big stands. And it's always the emerging artists that kind of have to just deal with it and go, yeah, our music is kind of free, but the show, or the experience, is something that people will always have to pay for, unless you're Kiss and you can make a chain out of your brand.
There's no doubt about it. Like, the more people that buy our CD, the more likely we are able to go to the countries people are begging us to go to on the Facebook. I'm not trying to say we're really popular. I mean, you get that one comment that says, please come to Spain. It's like, well, maybe. We have to be really quite economical with how often we can tour and where we can tour based on your finances. And it's sort of as simple as that. So, I mean, it makes a difference. If you want to help a band, then definitely buy their music. But I'm not about to get on a soapbox and tell everyone that what they're doing is wrong.
Just
I think it's fine.
Go to their shows and buy their merch
or something. Yeah,
like you don't have to. I would personally rather someone download our music and come to a show than never listen to it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah.
So.
And I'm just happy if anyone wants to listen to our music, I'm flattered at the end of the day. Anyway, so
free or not, we'll
free
pay
or
you.
Not, yeah. At least we're not paying people to listen to our music.